Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, guys. Oh my gosh. 14 days. Deep breaths. 14 days to go, 2 weeks out. It has been a battle. Man, we have been, I honestly can say from the bottom of my heart, I feel like I have been battling for 4 years. It's been a battle. And we're gonna keep, and I said this earlier in a post, because I had a friend say, oh my gosh, I just want Trump to win so we can just take a break. And I agree with that. It'll be a short inhale, exhale. Oh my gosh, we got through that moment. But we're not gonna be done ever fighting for this country. There will always be people that hate individual liberty, that hate freedom, that hate everything this country was founded on, and we will forever be in a fight to defend that freedom. There's always an entity out there trying to take freedom, always. So this is it. I mean, we are in a fight. We're in a fight for a country, a battle for our country, a battle for our kids, a battle for our grandkids, and I believe that until we start to take over the mountains of influence, I've spoke about this before, the mountains of influence, business, arts and entertainment, religion, government, media, education, all of these, unless we start to, those have been infiltrated by the left, by a communist Marxist agenda. And until we take those mountains of influence back, it's going to be a battle. It's so, if you have kids out there and they have a special gift in arts and entertainment, or they have a gift in teaching, encourage them to go into these realms of influence and be leaders and be influencers, because we need that. We need to start to take back our country for freedom and the principles that it was founded on by our founding fathers. So with that, welcome. Get in here. Oh my gosh. Hello. Mary, Courtney, Vicky, what's up? Hey guys. Gigi, hello. Linda, Leslie, hello. Melanie. Well, welcome guys. How are you guys? Yay! Welcome. I'm so happy you guys are on. I'm We're going. Today is exciting. It's an exciting show. I've got a lot to discuss. A lot's going on. So much is going on since I came on last. Hunter Biden's laptop. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about Joe going MIA until the debate. Censorship, the censorship I've been experiencing over this last week. But I want to go straight into something because I'm limited on time with this special guest. Just to do a quick segue, with Hunter Biden's emails comes a huge revelation of the influence that China has. Now, there's more stuff surfacing right now of really bad stuff on this computer that's incriminating. That is, it's dark. And some are saying that it's being used as a blackmail chip for different people in different countries. I'm not going to get specific because of the censorship that I've endured. If you want to know details, read the emails. If you want to know what's on that laptop, research and find out for yourself. And it's dark, and the more stuff coming out involves really dark stuff that I'm like, whoa. And if I was some all-powerful, country leader that had this information on the person that is incriminated in a lot of this stuff, I could see it how it could be used as blackmail. With that said, I'm going to quickly go into our special guest because I'm so excited to have her here. She is an author. She's got her own Wikipedia page, which is pretty special. I don't have anything like that. So her name is Jennifer Zeng. She is she was born and raised in communist China. So I've had other guests on here, guys, that have, they could talk about China. They can talk about people that they love that are in China, but I've never had the privilege of having someone on that has actually escaped communist China and that has been held in a labor camp in communist China and that is literally risking their life right now to speak up against communist China and what they're trying to do around the world in their country and even in our own election. So I want to bring on Jennifer Zeng. She also has her own show as well, Inconvenient Truths. She puts out a ton of videos. She's got her own Facebook page, Twitter, is it Instagram too, possibly? She's all over the place, but come on in, Jennifer. Welcome to the show. Thank you so much for coming on. I'm honored to have you as a guest. The more I read about you, I'm like, whoa, this woman has an incredible story to tell. And first of all, just thank you for being bold and being courageous. I mean, it's nothing for me to speak out here in America where we have these freedoms, but for somebody that has escaped communist China and has family over there that you've had to completely cut ties with, it just shows how much you love freedom and how much you're willing to do what it takes to defend it here in America. And I'm honored to have you on. So welcome.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yes. Okay. So let's just kind of tell the audience quickly, like, I know it's like hard because it's like, oh, in a short amount of time, just give us your life story. But you were held in a concentration camp, a labor camp. Can you tell us why you were?
Because I practiced Falun Gong. It is a spiritual, you can say, a self-improvement practice based on 3 principles: truthfulness, compassion, and forbearance or tolerance. And we have 5 daily gentle exercises, which are very similar to yoga or to Tai Chi. So in 1992, this practice was first introduced to public. So in 7 years, because of its very obvious health benefit, it developed very fast in China. So in 1999, so within 7 years, there were 70 to 100 million people practicing Falun Gong in China. So that outnumbered the Communist Party members. So that's when the Communist Party decided it had to crack down on this movement because, the party is the only party in power. There is never an election in China. The Communist Party had a very fundamental fear about its own legitimacy. So it's never allowed, any freedom of people. So that's when it started to crack down on Falun Gong. That's how I ended up in being arrested 4 times and thrown into a female labor camp for 1 year.
Oh my goodness. So Falun Gong, Falungong, it's a meditation type form, like a religion. Would you even say religion? Is it like an enlightenment type kind of, is it similar to Buddhism?
Yes, you can call it a religion or you can call it not a religion. It only depends on how you define a religion. It is a belief system very similar to Buddhism. It also believes in the existence of Buddha, of gods, of higher beings, and afterlives. But it's not a religion in terms of it doesn't have any temples, churches. You don't have to be a monk or nun. You can practice it at your home. The most important thing is to improve your heart, get rid of your attachment, and improve your moral standard and be a better person. So you can get rid of all the religious formalities and practice it in your heart. So you can call it a religion or not a religion.
Okay.
It doesn't matter.
Okay, and so why do you think it is such a threat to communist China for you to practice this meditation, really?
Yes, I think it's this Communist Party's own fundamental fear about its own legitimacy. Like I said, and also its nature. Falun Gong practices truth, compassion, and tolerance. And the Communist Party's nature is exactly opposite to what Falun Gong promotes or Falun Gong believes. It always tells lies. It always uses violence to suppress people. So Falun Gong's high, I think, moral standard embarrassed this party, and it always feared if more people are practicing this, our people will start to question our authority. Maybe one day people will say, oh, let's follow Falun Gong, let's don't listen to the party. So although Falun Gong is not a political organization, or we don't have any political aspiration or agenda, but because it has its own fear, it always fear anybody could be, fighting for to want to take away their power, because it has absolute power, so it can't just decide, I'll crack down on you today. Like they are cracked down on Hong Kongers, they are cracked down on Uyghurs in Xinjiang. So they are cracked down virtually on everybody. Christians, are also, like even traditional Buddhists are also being suppressed. So they don't need actually a real reason, or if you are a real threat, if they feel like they are not safe, they want just to maintain that kind of fear in the society, so nobody has time or space to question their authority.
Right, right. Well, it's just another example, I think, of what communism is, really. You're not allowed. I mean, like Karl Marx said, communism begins when atheism begins. So if you're thinking of anything else, any external higher power of any kind is not allowed in the Marxist states. It's not allowed in Marxist ideology. It's not allowed. And I know that Xi Jinping he's a true, like, he loves Marxism. Like, he's spoken out about it. He's a fan of it. So it doesn't surprise me that, with a leader like that, that's a huge fan of Karl Marx, to come in and shut down anything that could be a threat to the communist ideology, and that the state is God and nothing else can compete with it. And so that's what we see in China. And we're actually starting to see an infiltration in the United States of a defiance and a hatred for any kind of faith. And we are seeing a battle for our own religious freedom here in America. And I think people need to look at China and say, that's your future if you guys don't stand up and speak out against any kind of overlords, state-like leadership to come in and tell us what we can and cannot do. And it ends up looking like China. So really quick, because I don't want to take up too much of your time, when you were in the labor camps, like what happened in them? Can you give us kind of a glimpse inside?
Every day it's a battle of life and death, because the police said to us the only purpose for us to be sent there is to get us reformed. So they use all kinds of torture methods to force us to give up Falun Gong, to denounce Falun Gong, to agree that the crackdown is over. It's great. That's endless torture and then endless forced labor. We had so much to do that we got up from 5:30 in the morning and worked till midnight, so that the products we made could catch up the train the next day to Australia, to America, to Europe. And the third part is to be waiting to be killed as an organ supplier. We were given blood tests as soon as we were sent in the camp. So they store our database, the database of our blood type, tissue type in a computer. So if anyone from the US need an organ, they find a match in that database and then killed that person on demand, so that they can sell his organ or her organ to the person who can offer to pay huge money. So endless torture, endless forced, slave labor, and waiting to be killed as a. So that's basically our career in the forced labor camp. And I myself was shocked with two electric batons until I lose my consciousness. And I saw another female shocked on her head, on her private part, till she lost control of her bowel movement and couldn't walk for months. And they used teeth brush combined together, push this into female Falun Gong labor, Falun Gong practitioners and gymnasts, and twist until they saw blood came out.
Wow.
And sleep deprivation for, the longest period I knew was 42 days, 42 nights, no sleep at all. And I personally witnessed the moment when a lady was driven into insanity because of lack of sleep. So
Yeah.
those inhumane things happen every day in the labor camp. And
Wow.
there are still hundreds of thousands or maybe millions of them in the camp now. The persecution of Falun Gong has been continually for 21 years now. Never
Wow.
stopped.
Wow. So going without sleep for up to 42 days, then they would kill people and harvest their organs.
Yes.
They committed shock therapy,
Yeah.
um, forced labor to work, and a lot of products come out of China
Yeah.
that are from
Yeah.
forced labor camps, which people
That's
don't
why
understand.
you can see so many made in China, very, very cheap products in everywhere in the world.
Yeah.
It's made by tears and blood, like the image, like me,
Wow.
inside the labor.
Wow. And see, this is what I keep. This is what I don't understand about people in America that think it. I just can't wrap my head around it. Giving more power, more authority to a select few. That is communism. Communism is giving your authority, your rights over to the state, and giving absolute power to anything. That thing becomes corrupted absolutely. And if they can't get you to comply, they create labor camps, they create concentration camps, they kill you. We have seen this ideology, this communist mindset has killed over 100 million people in the last 100 years. You have to be
Yes.
a complete idiot to want this in America, to want
Yes.
to give more authority and power over to the state. Guys, I'm going to keep railing on this because some of you don't get it. Jennifer here is like sounding the alarm. Listen to her. Listen to what she has to say. She's lived it. And thank God she's survived it. And she's bold enough to come on here and speak out against it when she has family over there that could suffer grave consequences for her boldness of speaking out about this issue. So I want people to share this video. I know it's uncomfortable to hear because people are like, oh, I don't want to hear about that, I don't know what to do. Like, we can share this, we can speak out about this. We have the ability to do it still here in America where we're not tortured for speaking up. Thank God. And we have to preserve that, guys. So, Jennifer, I want to thank you so much for coming on. Is there anything that you want to leave the audience with before you leave? Anything you want to say?
Yes, I hope everyone can try to educate yourselves about the evil nature of the Communist Party. It will never change. And its goal is to destroy mankind and to take over the world. So whenever you can, see through the Communist Party, never let it, never allowed it to fool you and to fight back, push back. Don't invest in China anymore. If you can, don't buy made in China product, and don't allow the propaganda to get over you. If you have a chance, talk to your neighbor, to talk to your congressperson, and don't allow the Communist Party to take over the US.
Yeah. Wow, Jennifer, thank you so much. I'm honored to have you on. Truly appreciate it. Guys, please follow her. She's on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Jennifer Zeng, blog.com. And all of her ways to contact and follow her are in the description here on this on this live. So check it out, guys. Please follow her, encourage her, and we need to support people like Jennifer that are bold enough to speak up. So Jennifer, thank you so much for coming on, and keep up the good fight.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, you guys. It's so hard to somebody just threw in a donation from ETTN on YouTube. Thank you so much for watching on YouTube, you guys. I appreciate your support. I'm amazed at people's ignorance to think like, oh, communism this time around. And I'm actually kind of starting to write a satire on this, because people think, well, this time around, they just didn't get it right the last time they tried it over in, Russia, or communist China doesn't really do communism right, or Cuba doesn't do communism right, or Venezuela's not doing socialism right. That's the argument you get back from these people. They're like, oh, well, it's not really, it wasn't the pure form of it like Karl Marx really wanted. So let's keep trying it. And we see this in the United States, and we're seeing it in the Democrat Party. Okay, people that support the Democrat Party are supporting government takeover. They believe that your individual rights shouldn't matter. The state knows better than you. It is a glimpse of giving more power, more authority to the state. So thanks, Rob. Wow, that's cute. Okay, let's talk. Yes, very funny. Let's talk. I've got Biden up in my business. Let's talk. That threw me off. Okay, that's my producer Rob behind the scenes. So clever. Let's talk Biden emails really quick, and I can't go too in depth in this because Facebook is all over me right now with censorship. I've shared. You guys probably don't even know this. I've shared a couple of videos specifically on this with people speaking about it, and it won't even post to my page. Like, it just goes straight to my video section. Won't even go to my page. So that's like a huge, like that's never happened before. Let's don't even let her put it on the feed. We'll just put it over in the videos, and people just happen to go to her page and they click on video, then they'll see it, but it's not showing up on the main page, which is just interesting to me. Really quick. I'm so thrilled. I'm all over the place today, Rob, but I'm so thrilled that Ice Cube and 50 Cent are endorsing Trump. They're getting huge heat, but I just want to say, it takes a lot of guts for anybody in that industry, because I lived in the Hollywood industry, worked for some big celebrities, and it's very hard to come out in support of any conservative. So I know that these guys are getting hit hard. So I want to give a shout out to them. I grew up listening to both Ice Cube and 50 Cent. Not like, people are like, conservative mama, what? No, but like in college, it was always like playing through the dorm rooms. You know what I'm saying? Like, you would hear 50 Cent wherever you're going. Like, you go to you would go to a football game, 50 Cent. You go to like somebody's having a house party, 50 Cent's on. So it just like immediate, like there's that connection there. You're like, oh, 50. So I have a little, Rob threw this up. We pulled it from YouTube. There you go. That's the Trump dance with 50 with the backtrack, because I was so thrilled to see. You guys have probably all seen the Trump dance, but that's just joy right there. I love joy, just joy. Where the Spirit of the Lord is, there's freedom, and there's joy, and there's people dancing to music because they're feeling the freedom. That's the freedom dance right there. Okay, so just a quick rundown really quick, because I know we're running low on time. Since I got on here last, there was a laptop that showed up in Pennsylvania at a computer store, and a lot of people are saying, oh, this is Russian disinformation. This isn't, no. Look at the pictures. It's Hunter Biden, and the more pictures that are coming out, the more disturbing it gets. And like I was saying before Jennifer came on, There's some really dark stuff on there, guys, like dark stuff, drug use, cocaine use, women. Some are saying underage women. It's bad. It's very bad. And the biggest thing that you guys need to take away from this, out of all of it, is that Hunter and Joe are not denying it. Now the media might be denying it. The media might be like, oh, this is Russian disinformation. Shut it down. Don't share it. Let's just talk to Joe. Like, if you guys are so scared, let's get Joe on the record saying whether those emails are legit or not. Let's get Hunter on the record and ask him whether those emails are legitimate or not. They haven't denied it. When Biden was confronted a few days back by a CBS reporter, which is a shocker in itself because that's CBS, that's like what total mainstream media, and the guy that actually asked Joe Biden, like, hey, is this legit, got hit hard. Do we have that video? Oh, roll it then. Roll it. Yeah, watch this, guys.
And Mr. Biden, what is your response to the New York Post story about your son, sir?
I know you'd ask it. I have no response. It's another smear campaign. Right up your alley. They're the questions you always ask.
And did you...
Okay, I don't know. I didn't hear any sound. Did you hear sound, Rob? I didn't. Oh, okay, cool. So there is sound on it. I didn't hear it from back on my side. But hey, the question was, is this what do you have to say about Hunter's thing? Hunter's computer, and it's it's a smear campaign. It's a smear campaign. Now I want you guys to remember back in 2008. You guys remember when John Edwards was running for president, and all of that stuff started coming out about his affair, campaign finance abuse, and they said, is this true? Is this true, John? Like, tell us the answer. And he wouldn't answer whether it was true or not. It was just simply, this is a smear campaign. It's a smear campaign. And that's what Biden's saying. It's a smear campaign. It's disinformation. But he won't answer the question. Now, not answering the question is answering the question. So at that point, after he won't answer the question, now you have the real answer to the question because he won't answer the question. You need to look into what's in these emails. And then you need to ask yourself, are you okay with a government official as high up as vice president selling out America to enrich their own pockets? Is that okay with you? For me, it's not okay. I mean, this is it's criminal. So look into details on it. I'm not going to go into details on it because Facebook will be like, well, you don't know for sure. So just look into it yourself. And it's pretty shocking. I'm really hoping that on Thursday night when they have this debate that they ask him point blank. But okay, and this is just the woman doing the moderating is like, she's like she's full on Democrat. So I doubt that we're going to get a straight answer. So what Trump would do, what Trump should do, and I'm sure he's gotten like I know, but what I would advise him to do is just say, hey, answer the question. Are those emails legitimate? Answer the question. Just like he won't answer the question on packing the Supreme Court. Like, when they don't answer the question, they're answering the question. Like, people understand that, right? Like, you get that. Okay. So, Biden, what else do I have on here? Oh, the Facebook and the Twitter censorship. The Facebook and the Twitter censorship is so bad, guys, that when this story broke by the New York Post, they started deleting accounts that were sharing the story, calling it Russian disinformation. Like, immediately Russian disinformation before anyone's answered the question, before anything, like, or they said it was stolen, it was hacked material. Now let's back that up because it wasn't hacked material. The material gotten off of this computer when Hunter dropped it off, and okay, there's so much here, but when Hunter dropped it off, which some are saying, and I'm not going to spread rumors, but some are saying it might have been done intentionally. And then you think, well, why would Hunter intentionally do that? That's a great question because I don't know the answer to that. I don't know the answer to that. But because some are like, are you really like that stupid to drop a computer off that has that much dark, dirty stuff on it and then forget to pick it up? like, or he actually signed away the rights that after 90 days it became owned by the shop. It became a banded product or whatever, and it became owned by the shop. And he signed it, like he signed the release, and then 90 days later it never came back, never went back to retrieve it. It became owned then by the shop owner, and the shop owner's like, oh my gosh, there's so much on this thing that's really bad. Got scared for his life, and got the information off, contacted the FBI. The FBI had no interest in it originally, and then they came back and had interest in it. Something there with the FBI, which really, really bothers me, and I'm not a fan at all of Director Wray. I've been saying, if you're following me on Twitter at all, I've been saying, fire this guy, fire him, fire him, fire him. He had this computer, guys. The director of the FBI had this computer during the Ukraine phone call impeachment of Trump. Like, that's evidence right there. That he sat on evidence. The evidence of pay for play activity, the evidence of Trump really, Trump called for an like he was indicted, not indicted, but impeached, because he said, let's look into what Joe's doing. Now, looking and seeing what's on this computer, anyone would say, hey, look into what Joe did while vice president. This is insane. And so if Trump had a little bit of the information that was now on the computer, if he knew a little bit of it, but now of what we know now, it just shows us that he had every right to say, hey, look into this. Look into this. And Wray sat on it. Like, he sat on it. He didn't. So, man, I just think swamp when I see that guy. I don't trust him at all. So I'm hoping at some point he gets the thanks for playing, and you now can go retire because your services are no longer needed at the FBI. We need people in there that are willing to do the right thing. The people that are willing to investigate all people and not just Republicans. If you're a Democrat and you do anything, it seems like there's no consequence. And it's so frustrating to watch this. It's like, oh my gosh. So I'm hoping that we see some indictments. I'm hoping that we see some subpoena Hunter Biden, subpoena Joe Biden. I mean, there should be questions asked right now. What happened here? I want answers just like you guys want answers. So I would encourage President Trump at this debate to say, hey, point blank, are these emails, are they real? Like, tell us if they're real. And see what Joe says. Also, a lot of people are saying, oh, there's a going to be a mute button at the debate. And I don't think, a lot of people think it's to mute Trump. I think it's to mute Biden. I really mean that. I really mean that, because if Biden starts talking and Trump lets him talk, there's he could go off the rails. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, so just stop, because Trump now, after this last debate, has been informed, just let him talk. Just let Joe talk. So that's the plan. Let's let Joe talk. So now the left is like, oh my gosh, we can't let Joe talk. So what do they come up with? We'll just have a mute button. Once Joe starts talking or starts trailing, cut it. That's what I think's going on there. A lot of people are like, oh no, it's mute Trump. No. Trump is cognitive. He's got all his wits about him. He just conquered freaking COVID and he's dancing. The guy he's called by God. So he's surrounded with angels. He's blessed. And I think this whole thing, the mute button, is specifically for Joe Biden. That's my take on the whole thing. So with that said, I'm not going to take up too much more of your time. Joe Biden is hiding. He's gone off. Trump is literally crisscrossing the United States right now, hustling, working so hard for the American people, and Biden has retired to his basement. That just gives a glimpse, doesn't it? Doesn't that just give a glimpse at how somebody that's going to work for you and then somebody that's not going to work for you? I don't know how you could be at like an independent right voter or like an undecided right now that's like, oh, I'm going to go with the guy that's sitting in his basement. And the media is portraying it as he's prepping for debate prep, like he's prepping. If he has to prep this long, probably not qualified. Okay. I want the guy that knows exactly what he's going to say, that doesn't have to prep too long, that's prepared, but is out there fighting and in every single battleground state right now, fighting for your vote. Joe's not fighting for your vote. He thinks he's got it in the bag. So it's just a testament to Trump's work ethic. It's a testament to an outsider, because people that own businesses, people that have built things from the ground up, they had to hustle to get it. Joe has been a career politician. He's hustled for pretty much nothing. He's been in politics for 47 years. Do you know that once an incumbent gets in, they have a 93% chance of being reelected? Once they're in, they're in. So he's just coasting. He's coasted for 47 years off of your tax dollars. So he has no incentives to go work for your vote right now. He's totally confident to go sit in his basement and wait for the debate, and then wait for the mute button to come on to make him stop talking if he starts talking too much. I mean, I hope people see this. So that's pretty much it for me. I'm going to get back to writing. I'm working on some satire right now. Oh, Rob wants me to mention Jeffrey Toobin from CNN. He's a contributor over there. So inappropriate. I know this is all over Twitter right now. I don't even know if it's hit Facebook, but the guy was on a Zoom call, and this is a guy that's like always trash talking Trump about, being morally right and good, strong ethics, and we need to get him out of there. And this guy, okay, so he's on a Zoom call. So I can't even, but he's on a Zoom call, and he thought the call ended. And for some reason he decided to, I don't know how to say it, Rob. He decided to have a stroke, is what Rob's terming it as. But parts of his body were exposed, and it's really gross. It's really inappropriate, and that's the CNN guy. So doesn't surprise me. I mean, when people are really knocking people for certain things, I've always found that they're struggling with them. They're struggling. Like if they're like, oh, they're all against something, usually they're like doing what they're against. It's just the perfect form of hypocrisy here by Jeffrey Zubin or whatever. Zubin from Zoom. Zubin. Oh my gosh. So, I mean, it's just gross. Waxing the dolphin is what Brian says. That's perfect. So, yeah, basically that's what Tubin was doing, waxing the dolphin. Yeah, you can tell that makes me uncomfortable. I'm sure everybody on the Zoom call was pretty uncomfortable as well. But what it makes me think is just like, I don't know. And this guy like is the one that people listen to. Like he's the expert on a lot of things. I'd be like, dude, you can't keep your pants on. I'm not going to listen to you anymore. And he's a huge Biden supporter. Tubin, he's all in for Biden. And so is the dolphin, I guess. Anyways, well, that's it for me today. We're going to end with that. You guys are awesome. I'm thankful for you. Keep up the fight. Keep speaking up. Keep speaking out. Go vote early. Get your friends to vote. And we'll see you again next Tuesday, if not sooner. Bye, guys.